This is the brand new McLaren W1 hypercar. It's the most powerful and quickest accelerating road car McLaren has ever made. And it's the successor to the legendary P1, which means this new car is part of the next generation of Holy Trinity hypercars. The W1 will have to compete with the Ferrari successor, which will be revealed very soon. And Porsche's dropped plenty of hints about its future 918 successor too. But before we get into that, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the new McLaren W1. Launching a new flagship hypercar is tricky, and I'm not sure McLaren has got it right with the W1. The side profile looks like a two-tone Senna without the rear wing, and the front looks like a mix between the limited edition Speedtail and the rare as rocking horse McLaren Sabre. There are a few nods to the P1, such as the way the brake lights wrap around the rear bodywork. But overall, this car doesn't have the same wow factor as McLaren's first hybrid car did when it arrived back in 2012. But what do you think? Do you agree with me? Please have your say in the comment section. I really want to see what you all think. McLaren has developed a completely new V8 engine for the W1, and it sounds like it's going to be an absolute banger. Not a banger as in it's going to blow up. You get the idea. It has the same 4-litre displacement as in previous McLarens, but it has fancy new internals that help it rev to 9,200 RPM. That's 700 RPM higher than the P1 could manage, and only 50 RPM shy of the naturally aspirated V12 in a Ferrari. Previously, the most powerful engine in a road-going McLaren was the 835 horsepower V8 in the Sabre. This new engine cranks out 928 horsepower. However, the biggest difference between the W1 and other recent V8 McLarens is that this car comes with a hybrid system. Excluding the engine, the hybrid system produces 347 horsepower. With the motor and engine combined, this car produces a total maximum power output of 1,275 horsepower and 1,340 newton meters of torque. That's almost 360 horsepower more than you got in the old McLaren P1, and it's 440 newton meters more torque. But things are about to get even crazier, because the new W1 hypercar is rear-wheel drive only. So it's completely different from other 1,000 horsepower plus cars like the Ferrari SF90 and Lamborghini Revuerlto, which all use all-wheel drive to manage their power. Why on earth has McLaren done this? Well, it's because all McLaren owners are just harder than any Ferrari or Lamborghini owner and don't need all-wheel drive. That's just nonsense, obviously. It's because the W1 is all about lightness. It only weighs 1,399 kilograms dry. That's 171 kilograms less than a Ferrari SF90, and it's 373 kilograms less than a Lamborghini Revuerlto. This means the W1 has a power-to-weight ratio of 911 horsepower per tonne. Surely that number is trademarked by another performance brand. Anyway, for comparison, the SF90 has a power-to-weight ratio of 637 horsepower per tonne, and the Revuerlto 573 horsepower per tonne. You'll recognise some of the W1's weight-saving measures from other cars, but McLaren has some new tricks up its sleeve, such as 3D printed components and Formula 1 style inboard front suspension, which removes the need for a heavy metal subframe. McLaren has also done something pretty weird with the W1 seats to save weight, although I've actually seen this before, only in a Ford.
Brother,
No, I'm not talking about a Fiesta, I'm talking about the Ford GT. That car has fixed seats and movable pedals to help save weight and optimise the car's centre of gravity. McLaren has done a similar thing with the W1, and the whole chassis can be made 7 centimetres shorter, and a shorter chassis means less weight. But that's not the only weird thing about the interior. Many of the car switches are fitted to the roof rather than the centre console, so just like in a private jet, which you'll probably also own if you can afford one of these new W1s. More on the price in a bit. Anyhow, the steering wheel only has 2 buttons on it, so it's more Bugatti tourbillon than Lamborghini Revuerlto, with its multitude of buttons that can even flummox the most die-hard owner.
oh my God. I never put it in performance mode on any race. I've been in hybrid mode. Oh my God.
However, like with the Lamborghini, the buttons on the steering wheel alter the car's performance, and I'll come to that in a moment. First though, you need to know that unlike some other car makers, McLaren is sticking with hydraulic power steering, which should make the car feel more natural to steer at speed than those with electrical assistance. However, McLaren has decided to ditch one of its signature features for this new hypercar. The P1, Speedtail and Senna came with butterfly doors, which open upwards and forwards. But the W1 is the first McLaren to have gull-wing doors, just like an Aston Martin Valkyrie, or of course, a Mercedes gull-wing. These have been designed to help improve the airflow down the side of the car, and they're just one example of some simply bonkers aerodynamics on the new W1. But before we get into those, I'm going to give you some of the performance figures because I know you've been waiting for them. McLaren says the W1 will accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.7 seconds. That's a tenth of a second quicker than the P1 managed it in. However, it is 0.2 of a second slower than a Ferrari SF90 can do. Now this isn't a big surprise given that the McLaren is rear-wheel drive and the Ferrari is all-wheel drive. But once the McLaren gets going, its performance is truly insane. It'll accelerate from 0 to 124 miles an hour in 5.8 seconds, which is almost a second quicker than the Ferrari SF90 can do it in. And it accelerates from 0 to 186 miles an hour in less than 12.7 seconds, which is quicker than a Bugatti Chiron. At some point though, the Chiron will come past it because the W1 tops out at 217 miles an hour. But that's quick enough for most people in a straight line. And anyway, this car is all about the corners. In fact, the new McLaren W1 can lap Nardo's Handling Circuit a whole 3 seconds quicker than the McLaren Senna could do. And that's already considered one of the most capable track-focused road cars ever. So how has McLaren managed this? Well, the secret ingredient is clever aerodynamics, such as the Formula 1 inspired ground effect system. This sucks the car down onto the road, giving you more grip without producing much drag. There's also an absolutely massive rear wing. This usually lies flat against the engine cover, but it can slide upwards and backwards by up to 30 centimeters when you stick the car in race mode. In its most aggressive setting, the rear wing produces 650 kilograms of downforce, while the front spoiler, which is mostly hidden, can add another 350 kilograms for a total of 1,000 kilograms of downforce at 174 miles an hour. These aerodynamic surfaces are adjustable, and this is where those two steering wheel buttons come into play. One of them is the hybrid boost button. This overrides the car's Grand Prix and Sprint modes to give you maximum power from the engine and motor for brief periods. The other button is the drag reduction system. This works just like on a Formula 1 car by moving all the adjustable wings into their low drag modes to improve straight line acceleration. With the DRS engaged, the W1 produces 20% less drag than a McLaren Senna. Hit both of these buttons at the same time and that's how you unlock the W1's insane Bugatti beating mid-range acceleration. So, how much does all this cost? Well, in the UK, the McLaren W1 starts from £2 million after tax. However, every single one of the 399 McLaren W1s which will be built have already been allocated to customers. So if your name isn't on the list already, you might have to wait another 12 years for the next hybrid McLaren hypercar. Or you could switch teams and go for something with a Porsche or a Ferrari badge instead. Well, so long as you bought enough of their cars in the past, otherwise you can forget about that too. And that brings us on to the other future Holy Trinity hypercars. So Porsche has already teased a successor for the 918 Spyder in the form of the Mission X concept. This was supposedly powered by electric motors with the aim of being the quickest road legal car around the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Unlike many other concepts, Porsche hasn't ruled out building a production version. It even said that if the Mission X goes into series production, then it should have a power to weight ratio of roughly 1 horsepower per kilogram and produce more downforce than a 911 GT3 RS. Sorry about the accent, Porsche. I don't know, maybe that was one of the American spokespersons who said that. Anyhow, no prototypes have been spotted of that car yet. Ferrari, on the other hand, has been spotted numerous times testing its own Holy Trinity hypercar, reportedly codenamed the F250. Rumours suggest this LaFerrari successor could ditch the iconic naturally aspirated V12. Instead, it may use a de-restricted twin-turbo V6 engine derived from the Le Mans winning 499P racing car. That car's all-wheel drive system may also make an appearance, in which case you can expect significantly more than 1,000 horsepower and a 0 to 60 mile an hour time close to 2 seconds flat. How will these cars compare to the McLaren W1? Well, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'll be uploading videos about each of them as soon as they're revealed. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Click on the video windows for some more videos and on the carwow logo to see how much you can save on your next car. Thanks for watching.